Welcome to Mojave Model Railroad. I'm Tina Marie Cowett, and you get an exclusive layout update number 1 behind the scenes of my layout coming up next. Well, let's start over here on Townsend Yard East. Again, this is a fictitious railroad. It's my railroad. Made up the names, made up the design myself. And this is the east side of Townsend Yard. There's a double main that goes through this. Double main across the entire layout. And the backdrops you see, and I'll remove some of the buildings here in just a second so you can see as we go through. This is section number 1. They were all designed by me in Photoshop, taking a number of different pictures from the web and just layering them, making sure I knew where I wanted to put the buildings ahead of time. And once the buildings were designed, I measured them all out, put those dimensions in Photoshop, and then built the image around it. So you'll see here when I remove a couple of the buildings, of how that image doesn't look right. You can see how it's combined together. You can see how I added the element of the brick wall. And again, once you put the building in there though, that makes it a very good. And pardon the mess, it's a little dusty. Unfortunately, again, not a lot of time to work on this section. I'll show you the section I've been spending a lot of time working on. And again, there's a few different buildings here, some different sidings. All the lighting on this layout is LED. We have 2 different kinds of lighting. We have a really bright white light, sunlight, daylight lighting, LED. And I also have a blue LED. And the blue LED is to create that moonlight, that night effect, dim down to where it just doesn't flicker, but it's just bright enough. And again, we're gonna put some more close-up shots here so you can get a better idea of this section and what I'm doing with it. Still a lot of work to go on this one. But let's move down all the way to the west, to Townsend Yard West, and see what's in store over there. Coming from Townsend Yard East, we move into Townsend Yard West. And again, this is the backdrops here are a continuation of the backdrop from Townsend Yard East. Also, there's some very flat backdrops there, as well as some 3D backdrops. And again, this is all stuff that I will be working on. It was just temporarily put up. A lot of work needs to get put into this section, but you'll see what I've been working on recently. But this gives you kind of an idea. These 2 sections are 5 feet each. Townsend Yard East, Townsend Yard West are both 5 feet, which gives you 10 feet. And they are 2 feet depth in width. So 5 feet by 2 feet, each of these sectionals. And now we're going to move over a little bit further west. We're going to go to Town Line Crossing, and that's where Logan's & Sons Lumberyard is going to be. And we leave Townsend Yard West. We enter Town Line Crossing. Again, this is a corner sectional. It's a little different design, but it's also going to have Logan & Sons Lumberyard right up front here. And again, the continuation of the back. I do have some trees, scenic express trees, super trees I've made in the back that are just there temporarily. But this whole area is going to be a lumberyard up front, and there'll be a private road in the back to connect to some of the industries from Townsend Yard West. But from Town Line Crossing, we are going to slowly move into Aurora Valley, and this is one of the scenes I've been working on a lot lately. Still a lot of work, but I'm really proud of that coming up. So let's take over a spin down to Aurora Valley and my tribute to a little sci-fi. See if you can catch some of the sci-fi details. And there's a whole section that's going to be coming pretty soon that is a tribute to Area 51. So let's take a spin over there. This scene here is by far one of my favorite scenes I've been working on. It's Aurora Valley as you enter it. Little trailer park, water tower. Again, the background, and I'm going to add a bunch of pictures here, but you're going to see the background again, was a bunch of layers. This particular 8-foot section, and we'll scroll through it, but this particular 8-foot section was literally compiled of, I think it was about 150 individual images layered on top of each other to create this effect. And then again, all the trees and everything we've done here for this particular layout. Right here, you'll see that trailer park. Starlight, Starbright, you might recognize that from a very famous movie. And we'll get into some of the details, and I'll get some close-up pictures of some of the scenes that are in there. Still a lot of work to do on this, the detail scenes. Again, I really get into some of the detail work. Not too happy with the road, the way the road came out. I'm going to work on that a little bit more. The crossing gates are not lit right now, but they will be lit, and they will be controlled through JMRI, as well as with audio and sound. So, and including in this scene on the road is going to be one of my favorite things I'm working on right now. It is an LED cop car. I picked up the HO cop car for like $12. I picked up the LED lights for $12, and I'm currently installing them, as well as going to install a siren, both that you'll be able to control from the front of the layout with a simple push button. The trailer parks that are in this scene are the Woodland Scenics built-up trailer parks. Still got a lot of weathering. I still got a lot of detail. The lights that are in the park themselves are also the Woodland Scenics, part of the plug-and-play series. Those still have to be wired up, including the lights on the road. I have some road lights that will be added as well. Again, all controlled, all the LED lighting, and eventually they will be controlled by a button in the front of the panel. And we'll get into some more of the detail with some still pictures, and I'll kind of explain a little bit about them. So right now, what you're looking at is you're looking at the video in daylight. And I think this would be a great opportunity to show you when I switch stuff over to work at night. We have a blue LED lights, and we have them set at the lowest setting possible so they don't flicker, because you want that moonlight effect. And that's a kind of a neat little effect that I learned working in film when we would shoot at night. We would use blue filters to give that moonlight effect. So I'm going to put the blue light on, and you can get a better understanding. And again, it doesn't look as good as it's going to look once these other lights, LED lights, are up, but it'll give you a good feel of how the blue light really makes a night scene look really cool. So here we are in our blue light. Again, it's a blue light LEDs strips. They're set really low, but it does kind of give it that really nice, soft moonlight effect. And I'm going to take some close-up videos, and let's zoom in a little closer into these scenes. And one of the cool things of one of these trailers I love is the flashing TV. Now, I'm not sure if the flashing TV is going to pick up in the blue light. We might have to turn this on to get an idea. But let's give you an idea, at least from the daylight. You might be able to see that flickering TV in there. But we'll put the lights back on, and let's see if you can see the light a little bit better. Okay, we're going to drop down just a little bit so you can get a better picture of the double main that goes from the trailer park. And again, this is still all part of the Aurora Valley area. This is our 8-foot section here, and as we swing by, you're going to see there's a double bridge, and it goes into the background. There's a road there that'll be extended out, and this little flat area here is going to be the Little Alien in an Area UFO Research Center. And again, you'll see in the background there are many different layers, from the industrial part over here to the left with some trains in it, including all these different trees were all layered to create this scene. And I'm going to throw a couple pictures up there as well so you can get a better understanding of the Photoshop elements that went in there. Now, those is all the area that I've got done with the Photoshop in the background, so the rest of the background coming up is a little on the plain side, but at least gives you an idea of how we're going to extend this all the way out through the entire layout. Okay, we leave Aurora Valley and move to the Aurora industrial area. Don't mind the really crappy trees up front. Those were some stuff I experimented on. Did not like them at all. And again, this is going to be a continuation where there's going to be some industrial areas here. A lot of good switching opportunities. Let me see if I can raise this up a little bit so you can see the crossing. Again, this is another 8-foot section. Basically, section makes a L, and it's going to continue on all the way over to this next section. Next section is the Rockland Valley Pass. And down below we have Anderson Freight, and you'll see how we're going to access Anderson Freight in a little bit. We're going to follow this train all the way down here through Rockland Valley Pass. Rockland Valley Pass is the start of the U to make the inner U. And I got a temporary building as well as some temporary trees up there. Those trees will not be there. And that building is not to scale. I'm still not sure what I'm going to be putting there, whether it's a FedEx, UPS, or something. So you'll notice down below you have another track, and that lower elevation takes you down to the Anderson Freight. And again, this is the Water Street Industrial Complex. Again, some more super trees. And this is a continuation of the U, and you're going to see the U goes into another section. Again, this section right here, Waterville Street Industrial, is 8 feet long. As we leave Water Street Industrial, we enter East Ashland Town Line. And again, there's a couple opportunities for switching here. There'll be some background, some buildings, a combination of different elements as well. This is only a 6-foot section, but this section here actually takes a corner, and this corner goes into something that I've worked on a couple times, was not happy with. I'm still not 100% happy, and I think if I ever built another layout, I don't necessarily think I'd want to do it with a swing-out bridge, but this takes us into Black Bridge Crossing. And Black Bridge Crossing, again, it's a double main, and this whole little 2.5-foot section, it swings out, the top folds up, and this completely swings out to have easy access. Again, I'm not 100% a fan of swing-out bridges. I understand the need for them, but I'll be honest with you, the amount of work I think that goes into trying to make sure the track is aligned is more work than I would like to do the next time I do a much larger layout, that is for sure. From Black Bridge Crossing, we enter into West Ashland Town Line. And again, this is going to be a lot of different industries in the background there, including in the back corner there. Back corner is going to be a junkyard, small little junkyard section, as well as a bunch of industries here. Right now you're going to see the screen up front, which is where my JMRI actually is, and it's a touch screen. I'll go over that in just a little bit. This is also where the Amtrak station is going to be, and lower down right here is all going to be a small little town. And it extends over from West Ashland Town Line, goes into our last section, which is Skyline Drive, Scenic View, and we're going to get into that right now. And leaving West Ashland Town Line, we come into our final module section, which is Skyline Drive, Scenic View. Now, I'm not really happy with the way these mountains came out. Like I said, again, a lot of work still needs to go into this scene, including the backdrop. I think when I change the backdrop, it is going to change the way these mountains look, because I don't necessarily think they go with what I'm looking for. But there is literally 3 lines back there, 2 main lines and a runoff line, which takes you into the Townsend Yard East, where we started. Again, it's a complete loop all the way around. And again, you will see those mountains finish up there. The train comes through. And that takes us again right back to where we started, which is our Townsend Yard East. And that, in a nutshell, is the Mojave Model Railroad tour. Well, Mojave Model Railroad layout tour number 1 in the books. I really hope you enjoyed it. My name is Tina Marie Cowett. Not really new to the hobby, but not really open and public about my addiction for this hobby. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you get something of it. Going to do some tutorials in the future as well on this channel on some of the techniques that I have learned over the years and experimented with that I liked. And also going to give monthly updates on this layout. As I said previously in this video, I do work a lot of hours, so it is difficult to work on my own layout when I do have some client stuff that needs to get taken care of first when it comes to model railroading as well. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you get something for it. I hope it inspires realism. I hope it inspires you, whether you're male or female, to get out and enjoy this hobby, no matter what it is. Remember, it's just a hobby. It's your railroad. have fun doing it. Because if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. And I really, really enjoyed doing the video tonight. I hope you got something from it and enjoyed it as well. Leave comments in the section below. Follow me on social media at at Mojave Model Railroading on Twitter, on Instagram, as well as subscribe to this YouTube channel for updates. If you have a comment or question, leave it down below. I'll try to answer it. If I don't answer it below, maybe I'll even address it in the next upcoming video. So for now, enjoy and happy railroading. Bye guys.